right, well, I appreciate it, Parker. New man on board. We sure are glad to have you. I tell you, it's kind of a hard feeling that we had after the ball game. We all actually felt better after the Louisville defeat than we did the Western Michigan defeat to a certain extent. I thought it was a game of missed opportunities on our part. Would we have been good enough to win the game? I don't know. I told the team they had more better players than we did. They had a few more that could go than we did. Depth kind of got us there at the end of the ball game. But again, it's hard to say what type of team we got. I think we've got a good team. We got a lot of guys that are working hard. Got a lot of players that have a bad case of the wants. We don't have much depth, something we talked about early in the year. And we got about 5 or 6 guys. I think I mentioned after my post-game show that, I thought we're being a little selfish in the standpoint that I think they're good enough to play for us in a backup role. I think they're good enough to be a 15 to 20 plays a game type players, but aren't giving us those 15 to 20 plays a game. And that's something that we have to be able to have all 86 of our guys do their job with great pride. Right now, we missed a lot of tackles on defense. Most of those came in the fourth quarter and late third quarter, and it was by guys that led us in tackles. I mean, you look at Travis Taylor and Jonathan Jackson; they're probably the 2 best defensive players we got. And I think Jonathan missed 1 tackle the first 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter he missed 4. And as coaches, we got to do a better job of managing the reps leading up to the fourth quarter. But on the flip side of that, we don't feel comfortable putting the backups in, because when we did put their backups in the game, that's when we got burned for the big plays. So we got to have some guys step up. Bottom line, backups got to step up somewhat. Young guys can't get down on themselves. I mean, a couple of the plays that they had us on defense were from true freshmen out there trying to make plays, and they just got to keep working hard. Offensively, we dropped a few balls that we normally don't drop. We missed on a couple deep balls. We got to be able to run the ball better. They did have 2 good defensive tackles. Got to give those guys credit. I thought we pass pro'd extremely well. We kind of got a little stagnant there because we couldn't run the ball. So it became try to run it up the middle or throw it deep. And we got to do a better job of mixing those things up. So we head into conference play. I hate to say the preseason, but golly, all of them count as one. I mean, they all count as one in either column. But we are excited about playing an FCS level opponent. And I don't think you can ever underestimate the psyche of a football team. Now, I haven't figured out how to read the psyche of a team. If I did, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys. I would be making a whole lot of money, probably giving some seminars somewhere else. But, you look at the way our team's been, we felt good about Union, go to Louisville, and then play Western Michigan. I imagine there is a little doubt when you go play teams like that on the road. And so now I think we're excited getting to play our level. Unfortunately for us, this other than Louisville, this is probably the best football team we'll face all season. Jacksonville State's, they got it all. Got a great running back, very difficult to tackle. They're a top 10 football team at the FCS. They can beat a whole lot of teams, went deep in the playoffs. And then their defensive line is phenomenal. They go 2 deep there. They got 8 of them that can all play. And they all pretty much have all played in the SEC or somewhere there in between. So, again, be a huge test. But, our guys, they believe they can win this game. And that's half the battle. In 5 years, we've been beat 4 times, all around 8 points or less. And then we knocked them off last year. So we're looking forward to starting things off right in OVC play, but it's going to take a great effort by our team. I was trying to answer as many of them as I could, James.
Give your assessment of KD in his first start.
Thought he played well. Did a good job of checking the ball, moved around in the pocket. Only forced one pass, misfired on 2 potential touchdown passes. That would have been big for us, but I thought he played really well. Thought he did some really good things. He'll be the starter again this week, barring that CJ beats him out.
And I know you weren't completely happy with your defense at the end, but you did get a 4th down stop. So they showed some flashes of brilliance against Western Michigan.
Now I didn't say I wasn't happy with them. Now, okay, you gotta understand. Now we gave up 2 really long drives in the first half, and we bent, and they just kept making plays on us. Okay, there was a couple times where I thought we got the swing and the momentum that we could have held them to field goals or needed a stop here or there that we didn't get. So, do we got to tackle better? Sure, we have to tackle better. Do we have to be better at the point of attack? Yes, we do. But we're kind of in a bind. We got a bunch of young guys playing on the back end, so got to be real careful what we do on the front end there. But I see progress. We have guys in position to make plays, but not all of them are making the plays they need to make. So that's something that we got to continue to get better at.
Sean Samuels Connell, I know, went out with an injury. Give us an update on him and perhaps anyone else that was hurt during the game.
Well, that was a huge play in the game, opening kickoff. He goes down and he's out for the ball game, and he's kind of the quarterback. I shouldn't say he is the quarterback of the secondary. So we got 2 younger players back there that we always make sure they're in there when Sean's in there, so Sean makes sure they always know what to do. And so when he went out, we had both of the young pups back there together, and that's difficult. But they did okay. They did okay. We went into the game. We didn't know it this time last Monday when we last press conference, but we went in the game without Demetric Mason, had an arm injury, so he couldn't play. He's our best nose guard, so we had to do a little shift in there, have a couple ends play inside. And then Jalen Harrington did not play this week. As of right now, that Felton Collins, Demetric Mason, Sean Samuels are all on the bubble. It probably won't know till Wednesday whether those guys will be able to play. Harrington's out, and then Roman Clay again. Probably won't know to him till tomorrow when we get out there and practice whether he can play. So, again, beat up. They were a pretty physical team. I thought we handled the outside well. Again, it's just in the trenches right now. We're kind of beat up.
Tell us about DeMarcus James, the running back for Jacksonville State.
He's good. He's good.
What makes him so good?
You've seen him, Neil.
I know.
So why would you have to ask?
You tell us.
Huh? He's fast. He's big. He's powerful. When I say big, he's a lot of people say he's small. He's just short, but I mean, he's big. I mean, and he has big legs, but he's a tremendous player. And I'm teasing you, but he was the Alabama, I believe, coming out of high school, he was the Alabama Player of the Year. And he's from Demopolis, and we used to stay there when we played West Alabama, and little old town there that they love their football. And you're the Player of the Year in Alabama. You're pretty good. I mean, that's the Player of the Year. And a lot of the bigger schools didn't take him because they thought he was too short. I know Coach Crow, I was surprised. First thing I told Coach Crow, I said, "How'd you get that guy?" And he said, "Everybody thought he was too short." And sure enough, I mean, he's the best. He's the real deal. And we had trouble tackling him last year, especially late in the game when we got worn down. But he can do it all, and I'm sure they're gonna feed him the ball. I know I would. I'd be over there rubbing him down, man, making sure he was ready to go to the next series. But he's a good player, and then they got good players to go around him. I mean, he's not their only guy, but he does make them go.
You touched on it. You beat them last year by 1 point, start of the OVC season. Just talk about taking that mindset into this game. And while you're not sure about who you guys are, you did play 2 FBS teams back-to-back, so you should be ready for the level of competition that.
Yeah, well, we've been playing this level that we're getting ready to see. I mean, for 2 weeks in a row, and I joked on my press conference with the OVC a couple weeks ago that, I felt like we had 3 FBS opponents in a row to start after the Union ball game. When I say I don't know who are, we just hadn't played light competition. I don't know how we're going to stack up to teams that are like us. But I know we believe we can win the game. I know we believe we can win every game that we have coming up, but we have to execute better. You know, this year's team's different than last year's team. Their team's a little bit different. But we went for 2 in overtime and beat them. Second time in school history. So at least we know we can do it. And plan on doing it again this week. That's the plan. Hopefully we can make it happen.
And then touch on them defensively. What makes them so good defensively?
Their defensive line. I mean, you're gonna see 6-7 defense end that played at Alabama. You know, they got Greg Clark who played at Tennessee. And you know, that's just naming 2. You look down the list, but they got 8 of them. They'll roll in there. And I tell you what you ought to do is go watch and I'm impressed. Very well coached. Got a new defensive coordinator. He's a blitz guy. They force turnovers. But go watch the Michigan State game, and Michigan State, they didn't run the ball on Jacksonville State. Now they beat them passing, but you go watch it and see how those defensive linemen handled a Big Ten offensive line. That's all you need to see there, James. Go in there and watch it. Their nose guard took their center at Michigan State back just about every single play. They're really talented up front. They got a good secondary. I know they lost a couple players that were super players last year. I mean, they're a solid team. I mean, they're the number 1 team in our conference, top 10 opponent. You know, they do a great job of recruiting. They're in a great location to recruit. They get all the transfers in the South. They kind of remind me where I was at Valdosta. I used to get them all. Now I guess they're getting them all over there. They got a great safety from Southern Miss, who's out of Fort Valley, Georgia. I mean, the reason I know these are all right around my hometown, my recruit base. They're solid, top to bottom. They're a really good football team, and we're going to have to play well in order to win.
Considering who you've played, do you consider this the best, I guess, litmus test to kind of gauge where your team actually is?
Well, I would think so. You know, I mean, but this is by far. I mean, they're the best team, other than Louisville, that we've played. I'll just go ahead and say that, and you know, we'll see. And we've kind of been gearing up for this game. I've said it all along. We had to know who we were, you know, headed into this game. I've said I'm not sure. I think I know who we are, but you never know till you go up and play a team of your caliber, your level. But it ought to be fun. We're going to come out guns a-blazing and be ready to go. I can assure you that.
As of right now, great weather. It's at home, but family weekend, usually one of the biggest crowds. Your team seemed to really play well when they have that kind of an atmosphere.
Well, yeah, it's fun, you know, when you play in front of a lot of people, and I hope that we do have a big crowd. I mean, you know, again, it's the Murray family's team. I mean, Murray State. I mean, that's what people ought to come out and watch their teams play. And I mean, you know, I saw some buddies the other day, and they said, "Man, you've won the game you're supposed to win. You got beaten the 2 that you wasn't supposed to win." And I mean, it is what it is as far as that goes. So he said, "We're not on you now. We're not, you know, we don't have any heat on your back as far as that goes." But yeah, I mean, you know, this is football season, and people, man, we just need them to come out. And I really wish that our students were at the Western Michigan game. I mean, this is a team that went, I think, 1 or 2 and 11 last year. 1 and 11. Thank you, Neil. Always got me squared away on those things. But and saw that their visitor sideline, it was their home sideline at Western Michigan. They put their band and all their students on the home sideline, and then all the families sit on the visitor sideline, and they all sat over there. It was packed on our side. They were a nice crowd, very nice place, by the way. I mean, the people there at the university were phenomenal. Those are the people that watched the game. The crazies were on their sideline, and you see them the whole game. Their band's up there rocking and rolling. Their students are into the game. I don't know, Neil, what do you think? They probably had 8,000 students at the game that were just rocking, and it was a great atmosphere. And that's what we've been trying to do with the shoes up, you know, having the gold rush, things of that nature. But we just need a lot of people there. Hopefully it'll be a great day, and hopefully we'll play well. That's all we can ask of our team.
I know this isn't really football related, but I know the soccer teams, they've adopted the shoes up, something that looks like it's catching on, and it would be great if it did, wouldn't it?
I think so, and you know, it's just is change, and people are always it's hard to change and whatnot. And some people think it's a corny deal to do, but it sure beats sitting up there on your hands and just watching the game. I mean, our deal, I'm trying to get everybody interacted into the teams, and our teams are trying to do the same reach. Hey, let's all be one group, one family. So our players like it. Looks like the soccer team likes it. I know Coach Prome's going to try it. And, hey, if everybody else wants to jump on board, come on. We'll take all we can get. Lindy?
Coach, how was it Friday night getting to see Ty take the field?
Oh, that was good. I always knew the day was coming where I'd have to kind of balance my daddy duties with my football duties, and got to go watch my son play Friday. He's a freshman, loves the game, and got in there. Murray had a good lead, and they put him in there in the second half, and got his first varsity action. So he knew it all Friday night. He was excited, and I'm excited for him as well.
I got here a little late. You said that your starter this week, quarterback-wise, is going to be Katie.
Unless CJ beats him out at practice this week.
Okay.
Well, that's the deal. Y'all need to listen to Steve Spurrier take his quotes. If you got two good ones, what's the problem with playing two good ones? But that's the deal, and that's something that we have to continue to do is compete at practice. And if you do that just builds your depth up, and that's something that's plagued us. And right now our depth's really young. So we have to keep that competition going more so than we have maybe in the past years.